Can FaceTime audio video calls be made to any country in the world for free?
Hey there! Welcome to today's video where we'll be discussing an exciting topic, FaceTime audio and video calls. Specifically, we'll be answering the question, can FaceTime audio video calls be made to any country in the world for free? So, let's dive right in and find out.
FaceTime Basics.
Before we delve into the details, let's quickly cover the basics of FaceTime. FaceTime is a popular communication service developed by Apple that allows users to make audio and video calls using their Apple devices such as iPhones, iPads, and Mac computers. It's a convenient and user-friendly way to connect with friends, family, and colleagues.
FaceTime calls to international numbers.
When it comes to making FaceTime calls to other countries, it's important to note that FaceTime audio and video calls are primarily designed to be used between Apple devices. This means that if you and the person you want to call both have Apple devices with FaceTime capability, you can easily make free FaceTime calls regardless of the geographical location. However, it's worth mentioning that FaceTime calls to international phone numbers may incur charges. If you initiate a FaceTime call to an international number, you may be subject to your carrier's international calling rates. These charges are separate from the FaceTime service itself and depend on your cellular plan or the specific calling package you have with your carrier.
FaceTime over Wi-Fi or cellular data.
One of the great advantages of FaceTime is that it allows you to make calls over both Wi-Fi and cellular data networks. FaceTime calls made over Wi-Fi are generally free, as they utilize your internet connection instead of your cellular data plan. This means that if you're connected to a Wi-Fi network, you can enjoy FaceTime calls without worrying about additional charges. On the other hand, if you make FaceTime calls using your cellular data, it's important to be aware of your data plan's limits and restrictions. Some cellular providers offer unlimited data plans or specific allowances for FaceTime usage, while others may charge for data usage beyond a certain threshold. To avoid any unexpected charges, it's best to check with your carrier regarding their data policies for FaceTime calls.
FaceTime availability by country.
Now, let's address the question of whether FaceTime calls can be made to any country in the world for free. While FaceTime is widely available in many countries, it's important to note that FaceTime may be restricted or unavailable in certain regions due to local regulations or limitations imposed by authorities. In some countries, such as the United Arab Emirates, FaceTime may be blocked or restricted by the government. This means that users in those regions may not have access to FaceTime or may need to use alternative communication methods. It's always a good idea to check the availability of FaceTime in the country you wish to call or with the person you want to contact. To sum it up, FaceTime audio and video calls can be made to any country in the world for free if both parties have Apple devices with FaceTime capability. However, it's important to be mindful of the following. FaceTime calls to international phone numbers may incur charges depending on your carrier's international calling rates. FaceTime calls made over Wi-Fi are generally free, but using cellular data may be subject to your data plan's limits and restrictions. FaceTime availability may vary by country due to local regulations or restrictions imposed by authorities. That's it for today's video. We hope this information clarified the question about FaceTime calls.